Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our producer, Jeff Durall. We're at Hayes High School in the Hayes High cafeteria, and we're visiting with Jessica Younker, who is the new Director of Nutrition Services for USD 489, as we talk about the new school year and the breakfast and lunch menus for the district with our new director. First of all, Jessica, welcome to Community Connection. If you would, to begin, tell us about your journey. How'd you wind up as nutrition director?
Well, I grew up in Derby, Kansas, and then I went to college at K-State and got my degree, my bachelor's degree in dietetics. Became a registered dietitian. I started off my career in the hospital in Kansas City, and I decided that wasn't the area of dietetics I wanted to be in. I wanted to go into the management side, particularly eventually school nutrition. So I moved to Hayes to work at the university just in the food service as a manager. And then a year after that, this job came open, and I just had to take the opportunity, and I'm glad that I did.
Here you are.
Yep, I've been here all of last school year. This will be my second year, and I'm enjoying it.
When you were growing up, did you spend a lot of time in the kitchen?
Yes and no. I helped my mom some. You know, I learned a lot about home cooking, but that's a whole different realm when you're cooking for hundreds of people at a time.
So it doesn't really relate necessarily then?
Not necessarily.
Any background like in 4-H, or did you present any programs on nutrition or anything like that, Jessica?
I took all the health and foods classes in high school, which is what really got me interested in it, in pursuing a career in food and nutrition in college. So that was really what got me started, I guess, just in high school.
That's one thing I'd like to know is, you know, the job obviously is involved with nutrition and all of the components of it. You're responsible for not only Hayes High, where we are here in the cafeteria, but middle school and all of the other elementary attendance centers in the district, right?
Correct. We do, I'm over all of the schools, and then also the Head Start, or the Early Childhood Connections programs at 3 of the elementary schools, and then out at Munger, which is actually infant through 3-year-olds. So I'm feeding, my department is feeding infant through 18-year-olds. So
numbers would be about how many if you were going to give a kind of an estimate for us?
Probably about 2,000 meals a day.
A day?
I mean, district-wide.
Takes a lot of staff to pull that off, doesn't it, Jessica?
Yes.
And
it takes a lot of hard work.
Got a lot of good support staff?
We have an excellent staff. I got really lucky when I got this job to be able to work with such great managers at each of the kitchens, and then all the cooks. They work very hard, and they do a really good job with all the changes that get thrown at them as far as nutrition guidelines and financial issues and all that kind of stuff. They just kind of
They get it done.
They get it done,
like the teachers do. They get it done, regardless of the roadblocks in the way. So did you do any activities in 4-H or anything like that might have led you to a career like this?
No, that wasn't really an option where I grew up, or not that I was aware of. So I played some sports growing up, but that kind of didn't really help me in my career.
As we start out here in the new school year, Jessica, tell us what parents need to know for this coming year about the nutrition services. Go into changes or costs or anything like that you want to. What do parents need to know?
There will be a few changes, particularly here at the high school, and the a la carte items that the kids are going to be allowed to purchase. And the prices will be changing on those. The overall meal prices the board approved to increase them by 10 cents. So breakfast is $1.70 and for all grades, and lunch will be $2.50 for elementary, $2.60 for middle school, and $2.70 for high school. And so a little bit more than it was last year, but that attributes to the increasing cost in all of our, and everything
All of
that
the
we're
staples
purchasing and all the,
everything. Mm-hmm.
And also federal requirements. They require you to raise your prices to a certain amount.
Well, now, Jessica, at Hayes High, the a la carte, is that the main option for students at Hayes High and administrators and teachers?
Well, here at Hayes High, we have lots of options. There's whatever is on the menu, plus another, so all the entree, the menued entree and sides, and then there's another entree option in the other line, and then there's always a sandwich or a lunch-size salad available, or hamburgers, or grilled chicken sandwiches. So those are all the entrees that are part of a meal that are available. And then in addition to that, there's all the a la carte stuff, which is what you buy separately, which would be like cookies, granola bars, soup, pretzels, nachos, desserts, different things like that you can purchase separately. And they have, over the last few years, they've been making lots of changes to the meal programs, as we've all probably heard about. And this is basically the final step for now, which is changing all of the extra things that the students can buy. So, and making them, putting maximums on calories and sodium and fat and things like that. So the last few months, we as a nutrition staff have been working to change our recipes to be whole grain and lower in sodium, lower in fat, but still have the flavor that kids will want to buy them. And also finding different prepackaged or pre-made, pre-portioned products that will fit the guidelines that kids will.
And there are companies that actually do that then. They put together those pre-programmed meals basically then.
Yeah, well, it's mostly just snacks, not necessarily meals,
Oh, okay.
but just like the snacks that they can buy separately from the meal. The meals are all made and they have their own set of nutrition guidelines, and then the snacks are
And those are
separate
done
and they
every
have
day
different
then, right?
Yeah.
The meals are.
Right. Yep, there's something different every day.
And so when we see those menus posted on the 489 cable channel or heard on the radio and such, those are what the daily offerings are for the students, both high school, elementary, and middle school then.
Right. And then, yes. So those menus are what the middle school or the high schoolers, elementary and middle will receive or will be offered. And then the high school has that plus all these other options.
Well, it was interesting listening to the stories before we began the interview from our former Hayes High student, Jeff Durall, who is our producer of this series, and how basically there was a choice. There were the long buffet tables and such as that with the serving tables and such, but it was basically already a choice, and it was pre-done. In other words, you didn't have as many choices, I think, basically, is what he was telling me.
Yeah, and it's what they call offer versus serve in the nutrition world. So basically now it was serve where they just get everything, and whatever they don't eat, they just throw away. Now they have, even on the elementary school level, they have the entree and the side, and then 2 different fruits and 2 different vegetables to choose from. And they have to choose one of those. So, and then there's also always a salad, which also counts as a vegetable that they can, so they really only have to take a half a cup. They don't have to take everything that's on the line.
But there are choices even in the elementary level then.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about reduced price meals? Can you give us a little insight into what families might qualify for those so that they could get on board with those?
Yes, we do offer, as part of the federal program, free and reduced price meals. The application is available on the USD 489 website, and also at enrollment there'll be paper copies. And if you enroll online, you can print it off at home. And you just fill out, you look at the back, there's kind of guidelines of income guidelines that will qualify you for reduced price meals, and then possibly free. Just kind of depends. But anyways, you just fill it out and send it to our office, and then we calculate it up. And if you qualify for free meals, then you get your fees waived, and then you get free meals for the whole year, breakfast and lunch. And reduced price, you get the meal price is 30 cents for breakfast and 40 cents for lunch.
So there is the scale of full price, reduced price, and free that are available through the district now.
Correct.
And much of that through federal programs, which are supplementing the costs of the program, basically.
Right.
Parents would like to know what kind of help you need from home for the kids. Elementary, middle school, high school kind of makes many choices of their own, I think, by the time they get to high school. But how can parents help you for better nutrition, Jessica?
Right. Well, starting at when they get into kindergarten, and they're taught about the healthy plate, my plate, which shows the portion of fruits, vegetables, protein, grain, and dairy. And that's what we as the nutrition department are required to try to mimic, basically, like the portions of each of those things on a plate or on a tray. And so if they're getting all of those components at school, it's best to continue on with that education at home, and offering all 5 of the food groups at a meal. I know that's not doable all the time, but at least a fruit or vegetable with dinner or, and breakfast if they don't eat breakfast at school, which, the breakfast at school is, it meets all of that, and why wouldn't you?
And I'm sure more students I'm sure more students are taking advantage of that too, aren't they? Since it's a convenience factor as well as a factor that gets them the nutrition to start the day.
Right. It's the most, like everybody says, it's the most important meal of the day. But for kids who are trying to learn, if they go into school and they don't have any kind of energy in the morning, they're not as productive. They're not as
So in your education, you found that indeed starting the day with a good nutritious breakfast still pays big dividends in the learning process. And those healthy choices now, they have improved considerably, have they not, with emphasis on lower sodium, lower fats, and those types of things that we've heard about through the media.
Yeah, yes, they have. The stuff that we purchase, the vendors we purchase from, they have a good idea of, they're able to adjust their products. The food service manufacturers have made products for schools that are whole grain, they're lower in sodium, but they still have the flavor that kids like.
And they meet the guidelines,
they meet the guidelines, and they meet the kids' taste, for the most part. Some things you can tell, but we listen to the kids, and we learn, we know what they like, what they don't like. We adjust our menu accordingly. We try to, the things that we make homemade, we kind of try to adjust our recipes and, make them taste what the kids will like.
Well, we wish you the best in the new school year, Jessica, and you and your staff, and the incredible job you do to make sure our kids are able to be fed nutritiously and at the same time to get the opportunities for the meals on a daily basis. We do appreciate your efforts for you and the staff. Jessica Younker, who is the Director of Nutrition Services for USD 489 from the Hayes High Cafeteria and Community Connection. Thanks for watching.